So now you've created your first database and table. That's pretty awesome. Now if we go to browse here, you'll see that it shows an X, and that's because it's empty right now. We don't have any data inside of this table. So let's pull some in. To find our data, we're going to jump back to one of our previous examples. I'm going to go to our resource pack directory. And if we look at the second step here, we'll see that there's a data.txt file, just the data. It's step number 10 here. You can open this up, but if you've been following along with the series from the beginning, you'll also have a data.txt file in your root directory. So if we hop over there and open it, you'll see our three people, George, Sally, and Deepak. Let's add them into our table so we can start playing with the data. I'm going to jump back to PHPMyAdmin here, and I'm going to select Insert from the top tabs here. So you can see we have a row for each column, name, shoe size, birth year, and favorite band. And all we're going to do is fill in that information here. There's also a second set of fields here so we can add 2 records at one time, so we'll use that too. Let's jump back to the text file and copy all this information over into the form. I'm going to fast forward through this bit, but you can pause it to take a moment to fill in the fields. Once you have all these fields filled out, you can click either of these go buttons. I'm going to do that. Now it looks like we have a warning up there. Let's take a quick look. It says 2 rows inserted. Warning number 1366, incorrect integer value, the cure for column favorite band at row 1. And then we have a similar warning right under that. Now you may have noticed this from before when we created the table, but we accidentally set the favorite band as an integer instead of a varchar. So if we browse our data that we just inserted, we'll see that we have George for the name, shoe size is 10, birth year 1972, which is right, and then favorite band is 0. That's because it's trying to convert the string that we just supplied, which was the Cure or the Beach Boys, and tried to convert it into an integer, and what it came up with was 0. So we need to go in and change the type of column this is. The way we can do that is by clicking on Structure, and then down for Favorite Band, we're going to click the Edit icon here. Now right now it says Type Int, and we're going to change that to be varchar. Now we already set the length to 100, so we can just keep that. And finally we're going to click Save. If we look at the message at the top, it says Table People has been altered successfully. So that's a good sign. Now what we need to do is update the 2 records that we inserted to include the band names. So let's click Browse, and then we could individually edit these by clicking the edit icons next to each one. But if we check all here, we can edit them both at the same time by clicking the icon here. Now let's go ahead and update the favorite band for each of these entries. I'm going to go back to the comma-separated value file and grab these band names. We have The Cure for George, and then we have Coldplay for Sally. Now just like before, we can press either this go or the other go. And now, when it updated, it says 2 rows affected. We don't get any scary error messages. And if we look at our entries here, George has The Cure and Sally has Coldplay as their favorite bands. Let's add our third and final user. I'm going to click the Insert tab at the top, and then go back to our comma-separated value file and paste these different values in. And I'll click Go. It says 1 row inserted, and it gives us the SQL query that was used in order to insert that. This can be really handy to look at, by the way, if you're trying to figure out what's happening as you're working with the database and learning more about how queries are structured. Later on in this series, we're going to write our own insert queries. So this is a preview of coming attractions.